You know, there are some conversations in life that you don't realize will stay with you forever until they do. This is one of those conversations. It happened just a few months before my first wife, Susan, passed away. And to this day, I can still hear every word. Susan was battling lung cancer that had metastasized to her brain. The prognosis, it wasn't good, and we both knew it. The treatments, they were hard, and they took a toll on her quality of life. So I started working from home just to be there with her as much as I could. And then one day, about 3 months before she passed, she woke up and she felt good. Not perfect, but better than she had in quite a while. She said, "Let's go out to lunch." And I can tell you this, anything that she wanted to do in that season, if it was within my power, we were going to do it. So we went to a local restaurant, we sat down, ordered lunch, and she really did seem like herself again. We were talking, laughing a little, and then she said, "Quentin, I'd like to talk to you about something." I said, "Sure." And she said, "You know, according to our last doctor's visit, things are not looking good." And I said, "No, sweetheart, they're not. And I am so, so sorry." And I'll never forget what she said next. She said, "That's okay. I'm tired of not feeling good. And I'm secure in my faith, and I know where I'm going. I'm okay." And then she said, "But I want to talk about you." She looked right straight at me and said, "Quentin, you're young enough that one day you may date again and possibly remarry." I said, "Stop." I said, "We're not going to talk about that." And she calmly looked at me and she said, yes, we are." And I'll tell you, if someone had been sitting across the room watching us while this conversation was going on, it probably would have been something to see, because one moment we were belly laughing and the next moment we were both in tears. For the next 30 minutes, my wife, the woman I loved, she began to tell me the kind of woman that I should one day look for, the qualities that mattered, the kind heart, the kind of character, the kind of faith. Can you imagine that? That kind of love, that kind of selflessness, that kind of courage. And as she started to get weak as the end of the dinner, she looked at me and she said, "Listen, I want you to be happy, and I want you to be careful. I trust you. I just don't want to see you get hurt. So be careful." I've thought about that conversation more times than I can count. And here's what I've come to understand. That wasn't just a conversation about the future. That was love. That was love in its purest form. A love that says, I may not be here, but I still want what's best for you. And I know this. There are many of you watching right now who understand that kind of love. Or maybe you're walking through loss or the fear of it. And I want you to hear this. You're not alone. God is with you. That conversation in that restaurant that day would later shape decisions in my life in ways that I never expected, including how I would one day meet Jenny and how our story would begin. But that's a story for another video. If this story meant something to you, would you let me know in the comments? And if you're walking through something hard right now, we would be honored to encourage you along the way.